Good afternoon, Elk Grove Charter School. It's Principal Levine with your Monday memo for October the 3rd. So, hey, it's October, and with October, that means cooler weather and the end of first quarter. So, this is our last week of quarter one. What that means is that all students will have finalized grades as of Friday of this week. So that's grades are all done on October the 7th. And then on Monday the 10th, we will have a new schedule for all of our 7th through 10th graders. So keep that in mind as we get ready to shift. Students and parents can see their schedule for quarter two in student view and in parent view. And students can always come into the office if they need a little extra help understanding what classes they have for quarter two. Also keep in mind that Spanish, some art, some math classes may be running consecutive quarters like quarter one and quarter two. And so they may not have a schedule change. But student view and parent view has all that information where a student can always run into the office and somebody here in the office can go ahead and help them read and understand their schedule for quarter two. So, as we move into quarter two, there's a couple things we've noticed here at the school that we want to try to address. And so, here's the following kind of big changes that students are going to see as we move into quarter two. Now, what we've seen issues with is bathroom usage, cell phone usage, and late. So, those are the three items I'm going to address right now. So, as I stated, bathroom usage, cell phone usage, and being late, and they're all a little bit connected. And we as a staff kind of feel that a lot of these are being used as avoidance tactics right now by students in order to not do the work that they are doing in class. And so these are some of the things that we want to be able to help them with, not fall into some of those avoidance tactics. We all have those things where we go to Instagram, email, TV shows, radio, when we don't want to do those things that we ought to be doing. So as we move into quarter two, all workshop classes will do the following. So teachers will issue a finite number of bathroom passes to their students in their class. They'll be color-coded for the students. Students with excess passes at the end of the quarter will be able to turn those in for extra credit. See the teacher's syllabus for the rules and limitations on that. Students' emergency bathroom use will be allowed. We're not gonna not let a student use the bathroom, but teachers are gonna call the front office for security or administration to either escort the student to the bathroom or let them know that they had to have a student use the bathroom on an emergency basis. Our students aren't on campus very long. Some for just an hour, hour and a half, 3 hours is kind of tops during class time, and so we need to reduce the amount of time students are outside of class going to the bathroom. So still be having emergency usage, but that will be escorted, or at least admin will be notified. Only one student at a time will be allowed out of classes. So kind of lean on the teachers to help students understand that we're not going to let a whole bunch of students go out at the same time. That's kind of the problem. Students are congregating in the bathrooms. So one student at a time. And if you have a child that has a 504 or IEP accommodations that have breaks, frequent breaks, or a health plan with bathrooms, we're of course going to follow those. But the breaks need to be counselor passes and not bathroom passes. So we'll talk to those students that may need a little extra help or assistance in that. As far as cell phone use, so cell phones, and this isn't a change, but it may be just a little bit more emphasis on enforcement. So cell phones in classes can only be used if they're authorized by the teacher, all right, and for the activity that the teacher authorizes them to use their phone on. That's usually things that are related to a research project or maybe listening to music during work time. But we see a lot of kids on phones during class, on Instagram, on texting, on Snapchat during class. The teachers are in the front of the class oftentimes, and students will have it behind their computer screen, so it's hard to see. But we want to make sure that students are only using their phone when it's authorized by the teacher. Also, cell phones are not going to be prohibited outside of the class during class time. So what that means is we see a lot of students saying, I got to go to the bathroom. They walk outside the room, they get their phone out, they stop, and they do whatever they're doing on their phone. Some don't even make it to the bathroom because they're outside. Maybe they walk to the picnic tables and they're on their phone rather than doing what they've said. So no cell phone usage during class time, and Mr. Blake, campus supervisor, will be reminding students that they're not to be on their phones during class time and during the passing periods. And then Mr. Tosta and I are going to confiscate phones that we see that are being used. Of course, we're going to warn students. We're going to talk to them. We're going to make sure students understand or try to help them understand why that's disruptive, why it's keeping them from learning the materials. But for those that seem to be the frequent flyers or just aren't getting it, we may need to confiscate a phone here or there to help them understand that. Same with headphones that are being used in classes. That's really distracting. It's they got the voices from the music in their head and not necessarily what the teacher is saying. Lots of students trying to get by with multitasking right now. Headphones, phone, teacher, and it's just not that effective. So we're going to try and help them be a little bit more effective and hopefully be a little more tuned into the class. Just also keep in mind that per enrollment agreements, we can confiscate cell phones. We obviously will return them to parents, but that'll be between the hours of 2 and 4 during the day that we'll return those phones. So if that phone's really important for you and your child, we got to make sure that they're protecting that and they have it in their backpack or in their pocket. Even back from when I was a classroom teacher, I basically operate under, if I don't see it, I don't know you have it. So if I don't see phones, I don't hear phones, then I don't know students have them. And we're not just going to take them right off the bat. We want to help students understand how it's distracting, how it's keeping them from learning. The last one on this are late. This has been a tough one over the years at Elk Grove Charter because we do understand that we are a commuter campus. However, our clocks are usually are usually behind versus what the actual time is. So if students are late to classes here at school, that means they're really late per the actual time. But let me tell you, no student wants to leave per what the school clock says versus what their phone says. But back to late. So we want to make sure we're helping our students understand the importance of being on time. So what teachers are going to do is kind of like when you go to a Broadway show. If it's started, those doors don't open until after that opening act is done. So so all students need to get late passes from the office. And then once a teacher has started their warm-up activities, they're not going to open their door for lates. Students can knock on the door, but that door's not going to get opened until that warm-up activity is over with. Teachers will open the door up then, let students in that transition time, and then they'll get rolling again. So that means the student's going to miss out on the warm-up activity. They can make those up. You need to see the teacher's syllabi, their specific directions on how to make up warm-ups for each class. And teachers are going to start using more pop quizzes and formative assessments and things of that nature during that warm-up time. And if students are missing those because they're late, then they're going to have to coordinate with the teacher on how they can make that up. And that's probably going to mean coming into school on some off time or off hours to make up that quiz or make up that assessment that they did during warm-up. The easiest way to avoid all of that is to be on time, obviously. So we want all of our students on time. That's easiest for the teachers. If all students are in their seats ready to learn on time, it's easiest for the students, not only the ones that are typically late, but also the ones who were on time and they're not being distracted and disrupted by the students who are late, because it impacts everybody in that classroom. So those are the things for quarter 2. You're going to see some differences as far as just campus culture and enforcing some rules. Okay, so that's enough of that stuff. Moving on to the schedule for this week. Not a lot going on. On Tuesday, on tomorrow night, October the 4th, I do have a WASC information meeting for parents and students. That's at 6 o'clock. You can learn a little bit about our WASC process. That's our accreditation process. So please come and get some information about that. So that's Tuesday night at 6 o'clock. On Wednesday, that's Mr. Tosta's birthday. He's going to love that I threw that out there, but Wednesday is Mr. Tosta's birthday. And then Friday is the end of the quarter. I already said that, but what that's going to mean is we're going to run a rally schedule on that day. So morning classes will end at 11:40, and then the afternoon classes won't start until 1:15. All right, so morning classes on Friday will end at 11:40, and afternoon classes won't start until 1:15, giving some teachers some time to finalize their grades and get those inputted. That's all I got. That's a lot. I'm kind of out of breath from this presentation, but as always, I just want to thank each and every one of you for your support of Elk Grove Charter School. And as I end each and every week, go Falcons.